So you can be a millionaire today and you be broke tomorrow and none of those bills moved out your pocket. That's also why, like you see, the gross national product never matches the stock market. It never, because it's not the product, it's you. But they keep you diverted. Do you understand? So you're looking at stock going up and down, and what they're doing is really measuring energy flow from you. So the gross national product, or actual objects of manufacture that the common people think makes up those numbers, is really the mathematical electrical output of you making up those numbers. Because you don't have any money. You're not allowed to have any money. And that's regulated. That's why when you go to deal with these banks, which are using, and you can check it out for yourself, if any of your members of your family work in a bank, just ask them, what are the 10 points of codes that all banks operate on? They might look at you twice and not tell you, but they're operating on 10 points of the Uniform Commercial Codes. Commerce, all right? And so when you come in there, you and your account together are dealt with as an instrument of commerce, not the instrument that you pass. Do you understand? Which is also why, as soon as you move a certain amount of notes, in those institutions, that they will report you immediately to the IRS. And you can't even buy anything with a large sum of money. They have the outline of basically starting with 10,000, but you do 5,000, they'll call. Believe me. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? And the reason they do it is because they're working together. You think they're separate, they're not. Do you understand? So them, the hospitals, the politicians, and the international bankers are working together because they're holding you in bondage. So they also have the problem of the rest of the civilized world trying to put them in check. So they have the problem of, put it this way, isolating you. At the same time, they have to be an octopus with their arms and everybody else's thing. So it's a contradiction, and this is a problem that they're having. So one of the things that they plan to do to deal with the emergency that's almost sure to come is to kill us off in large numbers. And so they're suspecting that most of us won't wake up in time to put this in check. They also have it set up whereas most of us, if we travel outside the country or we deal with other persons, it's usually on a trip. You know, on a vacation type trip or some kind of a junket that you pay a traveling agency and then you go out, but you don't really deal with the people. And so most of the Asiatics here deal with the other people around the world only on that level. And also others are told not to talk to you, even when they come here from the islands and other places. They can deal with you economically, but they generally don't live in the same communities with you, and they won't talk to you on international law principles or they'll be deported. Because they all know that you're Moors and they all know that you're home. And they all know that that constitution that runs this government came from you. But they also know that you think it came from the European. And they also know that you think that Jesus was a European. And they also think that you think that that constitution regulates him and you're outside of it. And that you're waiting for a program for somebody to give you some rights temporarily. So you can vote and do other things and stuff like that. But all that's fiction. The real deal is the United States Republic has been overthrown without firing a gun. And it was done by the very same people that you see running government. That's right. And their instrument to make sure that they get the revenues from you, the energies from you, is the major instrument, is that license. This is why you see the politicians, whenever somebody brings up the issue or the argument of a national identity card, they don't go there. Or they'll mention it and dismiss it. Do you know the obvious reason why? Yes, the obvious reason why, because if they start dealing with that, it cannot be an instrument that expires. For one, because it's obvious that it has nothing to do with commerce. It has to do with the natural people. So therefore, they'd have to list everyone on that nationality card, their natal bloodline, your pedigree. So if you're Moroccan, real Al-Moroccans, so the real Al-Moroccans, Americans, would have to be identified. Yes, this is Al-Moroccan. Yeah, we are Moroccans. That means descendants of Moroccans. And they corrupted by saying Americans. But that's us. They're not our Moroccans. They're Europeans. And see, so then you got all these grown adults that really believe that Santa Claus was real and that bunny rabbits laid chicken eggs and that human beings come in plaids and light-skinned green people and dark-skinned orange people, and you can get light-skinned black leather coats at the mall. And you know you really got a lot of adults that really are in that frame of mind and they feel comfortable. But when you start examining things from a law position, all these things must be disseminated in their proper status. And of course, they will discover that they are living a fiction. Now you got a problem. Because they recognize that they've been had. Some of them are so spooked that they won't get there. They know something's wrong, but they don't think, their attention span is like that. So it's going to be about 3 minutes. But one or two that haven't been drinking and drugging, that still can go up under the sun and not get burnt, and their circuitry is running, will recognize human beings are not crayons. Human beings have nationalities. They have national standards on the parkway that you can go right here in Philadelphia on the United Nations, and you see a national standard that represents the nations of the earth. And it don't say light-skinned green people here and the light-skinned black people here, and black comes in light textures, and you got the dark-skinned white people and the green-skinned brown people, and you know, you got a lot of boys and girls. And then plus, because of their arrogance and self-righteousness, you know, you start pointing out their inconsistency on the intelligence scale, they'll burn stuff down. So they really have a problem here that they've created, a Frankenstein, and now become a burden on society, because now the nigger, which is an artifice, is no longer viable to be employed in the industrial world, because it's changing to a technological world. No different than you're not going to get these people in here right now and say, well, we got some investments in some saddles. Who wants to invest? Come up and see the sister over here and put up your few $1,000s for stocks in the saddle companies. Now, you know, people still ride horses, but we're not going outside and hear some clunkety come down the street, because it really ain't happening. And so, you know, they're still building saddles, but they ain't really down with it. You know, you talk about maybe some oil, some engine investments and stuff like that. And you know, like we used to take the cars and stuff, go in the alley, go in the yard, they break down, fix them, jump in there on the weekend, you know, put the family in, we do our thing, right? Now, you need computers, because now they operate with brains. And you can still do some stuff, but you're limited, right? Then they have other advanced technologies that they haven't even installed yet, that are actually 20, 30, 40, 50 years old. But the people aren't ready. Not that the people aren't ready, they're not ready to deal with the problems that were caused logistically. All right, so they'll issue out little things at a time, but the real deal is that the economy is changing because the technology is changing. And so now you have a people that you dumb down, right? The world is at your footsteps, including their allies, that they've been robbing and subverting and setting up all these puppets all over the world for all these years. And they've created an atmosphere where now the world really wants to kill them, literally, and are willing to give their lives to take them out of here. And since we've always won all their wars, and we still talking about we. No, I'm serious. We still talking about we, and many times, a lot of our parents, a lot of us are here because our parents were in war and were allowed to come home with them. The Asiatics trying to tell them, brother, what are you doing here? War is not yours. What's up? And we still ain't caught on. But the world is not going to be destroyed for our lack of knowledge. And so you're going to start seeing more and more body bags with Asiatics in it who keep on fighting these wars for these Romans, who've actually defeated them and now using them to go around the world to and fro the earth devouring other nations. And we keep on rationalizing, you know, that's our identity. Do you see what I'm saying to you? So this license has a more far-reaching, is a more far-reaching and damaging instrument than you think it is. Because also, by being used as an identification instrument, when you are violated in the society, it's not like they violated a human being. And so it comes under the Artificial Person Act of the 14th Amendment, and so they can murder you, and it's just a civil rights violation. You understand?